Yes, sir.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Hi, Priyambada. How are
How
you?
are you? I'm good, thank you.
Very,
How,
yeah,
how was
tell me.
your visit? And Rahulji's visit was a success. Yeah, I saw all the
It was
videos.
very good. It was very good. And that's what we are going to talk about a little bit.
Yeah, we are good. We are already live. So, very good morning, America. Good evening, India. This is Shan Shankaran, General Secretary, Indian Overseas Congress. I am with our beloved chairman, Sam Pitroda. We had a very successful Rahul Gandhi visit over the last 2 weeks, and I'm going to let Sam Pitroda talk about the thunderstorm happened with respect to the Indian diaspora when Rahul visited. Go ahead, Sam.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Priyambada. Greetings, everyone. It is always a privilege and pleasure to have a conversation with you. You're all part of my family that I look forward to meeting every Saturday. You're all dedicated. You spend your time, essentially give me 1 hour of your attention. And I felt it is important for me to share with you Rahul Gandhi's visit, which has been reported in many different ways. Some have misunderstood, some have misused, some have participated in it, and there has been a great deal of media coverage in India on where did he go, what did he do, who did he meet, what did he say. But I want to report to you that overall, the trip was a great success. I want to quickly give you my version of the trip, and then we can open up for a broader conversation, a brief but broad conversation. Rahul Gandhi came here to visit Dallas and Washington. September 7th night, he arrived from India to Dallas airport. Some of us went to receive him. It was a big crowd, and I normally don't do well in sort of pushing in the crowd. So I stayed out for a while, and crowd really received him well. Um, there were security people. It was hard to handle hustle and bustle at the airport. He had lots of people there with flowers, community people, students, professionals, naturally IOC leaders. Some people have come from India. So it was a very warm welcome in Dallas. Next morning, we went to meet about 15 people from Haryana, Punjab, Gujarat, who had really chosen to enter America through a variety of means. Some had asked for asylum, some were driving trucks finally, but they all had gone through a very difficult entry into US through very complex journey, very risky journey, taken big loans, sold their parents' land, farms, and felt they couldn't find opportunities back home. And they decided to come to to America looking for opportunities. It was a very emotional meeting because some people were beaten up. One fellow was already in a wheelchair. And then Rahul spent about an hour with them, little more than an hour and a half, I think, total. And then promised them that he will go and meet their parents in Haryana. Recently, I believe yesterday or so, he did meet them. I saw bits and pieces on video. But then it turns out that his visit was very emotional. I saw a piece where he is meeting children of the people who had left home. And I'm sure we'll hear more about it in the near future. This visit to me was important because thousands and thousands of our young leave India, take risk, and come abroad looking for opportunities. Some come to universities for education, and they do reasonably okay. But those who don't have skill set come through difficult route, and their journey, their story is very different. I was touched. Then after that, we had an event at the University of Texas where a professor was having a fireside chat with Rahul. There are about 400 some odd students. It was very well received. Good event. Students asked questions. And the topics varied from what is happening in India to economy to employment, so on and so forth. I must mention that a lot of people have questioned about his timing. Let me tell you that in India, there is always something important going on. Every day in a country of 1.5 billion people, there is some crisis. Whether it is in Assam or because of rape in the hospital or some community tensions or election issues, there is no good time to leave India because you are needed back home every day. But then you also have a responsibility as one of the largest democracy believers in the world, as a national political party. We have a job. We have a responsibility to go meet global players, interact with them, understand their issues, express our concerns on democracy, freedom, human rights, diversity, inclusion. All of the things that matter to us need to be articulated globally. So when Rahul decided to come here, we earlier had a plan to spend 7-8 days in US, but because elections were announced in Haryana and Jammu and Kashmir, we cut it down to 3 days, 1 day in Dallas and 2 days in Washington. So then going back to Dallas, after the student interactions at the university, we had a big community event where there were close to 4,000 people. Dallas is a big center now for Indian talent pool. Lot of software people, especially from Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, and a lot of other businessmen from Gujarat, Punjab, and other places. They were all there. Rahul spoke well there. There was no room for question answers because it was too big an audience. Then we had a quick dinner with about 100 people, those who had volunteered their time, donated some money to hold the event. and were real Congress sympathizers, committed people. We met with them, we had a quick dinner, and next morning we went to Washington. Upon arrival in Washington, we had a private meeting with some of the people I personally know in Washington administration. Then we had an event at Georgetown University. It was excellent event because the professor who moderated Fireside Chat was with Financial Times and had worked in India for 5 years, so he knew a lot more about India than an average person. He was senior and he did a great job, according to me, in moderating. The quality of questions were also much better at Georgetown. Students were smart, they asked pointed questions, and there was good interaction. Thereafter, we had community event where there were about 700 people. And Rahul opened his heart and freely spoke there. Some of the comments were taken out of context later on by Indian media. And I will put that in perspective from my viewpoint to clarify some. And then again, we had dinner that evening with about 100 people, and they wanted to take pictures with Rahul, and we arranged all that. Next day was a busy day. There, we started early morning with a meeting with group of congressmen. This meeting was going to be, or was to be, organized by the chairman of the progressive group in the Democratic Party, Pramila Jaipal. Unfortunately, she got sick. So we got a call a day before. So we had to juggle because vice chair was Ilan Omar. And we felt it'd be good for some senior congressman to chair the meeting. So we connected with Brad Sharman. He's in his 70s. He's been congressman for 28 years or 26 years. Well respected, understands issues in India. So we requested his office and him, and he readily agreed to host. There were about 10 congressmen there. First to arrive was a friend of mine, Jonathan Jackson from Chicago, son of Jesse Jackson, very famous Democratic Party leader, someone who had worked with Martin Luther King, and a stalwart. So Jonathan came in early, and we had a very interesting conversation with Jonathan for almost 20-30 minutes. Then there were 3 congressmen from India, Raja Krishnamurthy, Ro Khanna, and Sri Thanada. There were others, one from Atlanta. There were senior people from Illinois. And then there was really a very broad conversation. Ilhan Omar was there, and she was also very pleasant, participated in conversation. And Congressman Brad Sherman really handled the overall interactions very well. It ranged from the issues related to democracy, to Ukraine war, to what is happening in Gaza, across Indian border, Bangladesh, China, our neighborhood, and the need to improve production in democratic countries. So it did reflect conversation on employment, technology. So it was very, very informative on both sides. And we agreed that some of these congressmen will come to India to strengthen our ties. Then we had interaction at the think tank. This think tank is very well known, Center for American Progress. There are about 30 people there. It was closed door. And again, we had conversation on some of these issues and wanted to see how intellectuals see India's role and our relationship with the US and how collectively we can work together. It was very productive. But in the morning, we also had, after the meeting with the congressman, a meeting with staffers. I find some of these staffers are very important. They work for the senators, congressmen. They are professionals, and they shape policy input. They advise political leaders. So we spent about an hour, hour and a half with those people. There were about 30, 35, and it was also a very interesting conversation. There were mainly in the age group of, I would say, 30 to 50, somewhere even younger. And these are all professionals. One interesting thing I find in American politics is that every congressman, every senator gets good 5 staffers paid. You can add some volunteers to that who really work as your staff, giving you input, position papers, advising you, walking with you in some of these meetings, and being there with you. I wish we had similar arrangement in India, where every MP can hire 4 or 5 key people, because these are the leaders of tomorrow. They get trained, they form their network, they work with political bosses, and they get to see the real environment in the capital. So the meeting at think tank was very good. Surprisingly enough, after that meeting, I got a call from Mahatma Gandhi's great grandson, whom I know, Devadatt, and he was there, and he didn't introduce himself there. So I spoke to him at length. I also spoke to Rajmohan Gandhi, who is a friend, and this is Rajmohan Gandhi's son. So a lot of these young people are well connected in the intellectual environment in Washington, D.C. Then we had quick sort of summary. Rahul and I had a meeting, so we could just go through and review what happened and what needs to be done and follow up and all that. And then he left. Next day, I had a book release function where I was releasing a book written by an engineer from IBM who was retired, had his business, And, then I also left and came home. So this was the overall summary of the trip. I was there all the time, so I've given you fair and honest summary. There were 3-4 points that sort of media unnecessarily cooked up, but that's their privilege. One was about Ilhan Omar, saying, why was she there? Look, if we are having a meeting in Washington, D.C., organized by the congressman, senior leader, it is up to him to decide. We don't filter who comes to the meeting and who doesn't come to the meeting of that type. That's not our job. We don't do that. Okay. Just because we meet with some people doesn't mean we are aligned with them. We are open, we are transparent. So to make all this halagulla, it says that you are in panic. I think this meeting really rattled many people because overall, Rahul Gandhi in his private capacity was received at the highest level possible, especially knowing that election campaign is in high gear here. Second issue was about the comment Rahul Gandhi made on reservations, which was also misunderstood. Basically, he said, look, this is a process. It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. If 90% of the people are not represented in the system today, don't expect them to be represented tomorrow in a short period of time. But we got to put policies in place for them to feel comfortable. It is all about opportunities. How are we going to share opportunities? Are we going to lock it up for one small community and their children and their grandchildren? Or we are going to open up for everybody? One interesting thing we learned from our conversation with people from Haryana who had come to America, Rahul asked one of them, what is the best thing you found in America? One young man said, there is no discrimination. Nobody has asked our caste. Nobody has asked us about our religion. There is a Muslim boy there. He said, look, we all live together in the same room here. And we are all happy. And I think that is the spirit in which we have to see these trips. That we are a global player. We can't take our petty politics abroad. We have to have an open mind. We have to interact. We have to learn. We have to share. The third issue was about Sikh, a comment Rahul made. But you got to really look at the context in which he made that comment. The first part of the sentence was, the fight is about. Fight is about religion. Fight is about freedom. Fight is about democracy. Fight is about constitution. Fight is about inclusion. You have to, nobody talks about the first sentence, the beginning of the sentence. The fight is about. Then comes Kada and Sikh and Golden Temple and all that. So whenever you take things out of context, you have an agenda. You want to twist facts. You want to misinform people. You got to create panic. You got to create fear. And you got to be careful when you do these things because people will ultimately find out. The fourth issue was really about this reporter who came in to interview me, and I didn't know I had already left. But after I left, he said he was mishandled. I called him. I said, I'm sorry if that happened, but I will look into it. We looked into it, and we find nothing like that ever happened. There were people there who gave me in writing as to what exactly happened. But this was also blown out of proportion by design, that they wrote to National Press Club. National Press Club not even took time to call me to verify. So this kind of internal network, they activate, misuse information, and create unnecessarily conflicts. And this is what happened. That's okay. I think things have now settled. People know the truth. But some people were rattled. And that's why a lot of this hallagullah, a lot of this voice raising and confusion. All four issues were basically non-issues. Ilhan Omar's presence there is fine. Rahul's comment about reservation was more in light of the future. Comment about Sikh was more about the fight is about, I think, quote unquote. And then you understand everything. And then finally, the reporter, which was a big scene. And I had to intervene, and I had to write, and I had to respond to National Press Club. I had to write an article. And naturally, many people think that I don't use the right words. Of course, I'm not a politician. And I open my mind. You got to look at my intention, my honesty, my truth, and not jump at this word I use or that word I use. Of course, I make mistakes. I understand that, because I'm not very good at language. I'm an engineer. So sometimes I wind up selecting maybe not perfect word. But that doesn't mean my intentions are not perfect. That doesn't mean that I don't want to convey the right idea. Come talk to me. I'll explain what I said. Don't run with anything you want to run with without clarifying. But then I understand how Indian media works. Even when I talk to you like this, they'll find 10 problems. But I can tell you, I'm talking to you as if I'm talking to my family. I'm not talking to reporters right now. But it is good to share information. It is good to be open. What you're telling me is just don't say anything and you'll be okay. That's one way to shut you off, by harassing you with all kinds of attacks on whatever you say. You can comment on the shirt I wore. You can comment on the, beard I have. You can comment on anything. You can comment on my lamp. Okay. And that's what goes on in India. So with this, I hope I have given you a good overview, and you can now ask me questions, open up. But the basic point is, this is exactly what happened. It was a very successful visit. Some people are rattled. In 3 days, we got a lot of things accomplished. He was extremely well received. Community was very happy. Those who met him were very happy. The congressmen, the think tank people, students, intellectuals, staffers, and IOC people, NRI communities were very pleased. I must thank IOC leaders in Dallas, in Washington, in New York, New Jersey, in California, who really worked very hard to organize these things. People flew in from LA, people flew in from Canada, San Francisco, Houston, Michigan, New York, New Jersey, Chicago. People flew in from all over to attend these events. So with this, let's open up for conversation. I hope this was okay, Sean.
Yes, sir. I think you gave a very good brief. See, maybe I think one
time, but
controversy we didn't provide. One controversy we didn't provide much insight is journalist Mushkil Fazal Ansari. There was a conspiracy theory saying that he is the founder of VNP, which is played an important role in whatever the Bangladesh kind of.
We didn't know that. Okay, that's a good point. No, we didn't know that because the invitation goes from National Press Club. We don't invite people at the National Press Club meeting. That's not our job. That's the job of the National Press Club. They can invite whosoever they want to invite. They don't send us a list. They don't do screening. So if they invited somebody from Bangladesh, fine. I didn't even know, or we didn't know who he was, because there are 100 people there. We don't know each one by name and background, but we assume that they are invitees of the National Press Club. So that's about it.
Thank you, sir. And even though I have my own perspectives on the India Today journalist situation handling, but I think still there is a lot of exaggeration as you claimed and kind of things.
Everybody has their perception, you see. The point in India is everybody has their perception, everybody has advice, everybody thinks they know the answer, they are smarter than everybody else. Everybody thinks if given a chance, they will run the country better than anybody. But that's India.
It got overblown for sure. That's
okay. It's perfectly all right. I told you the facts as I see it.
I want to primarily ask about your Capitol Hill meetings. So you met 4 different key groups: House of Foreign Affairs Committee, Congressional Progressive Caucus, India Caucus, Black Caucus. So kind of it's a very, very big thing. So even though there are 10 people, so Barbara Lee, Brad Sherman, Jonathan Jackson, and Raja Krishnamurti, Rokanna, all of these are very key people, movers and shakers in the Democratic Party and many other world. So what are you thinking about these 4 different groups coming together and meeting Rahul Gandhi and giving a welcome or having a very open chat?
We left it to Brad Sherman. We, trusted him that he will invite the right people. And even if you invite right people, they may not have time. They may not be in town. Their schedule may have conflict. So, all of these things one has to take into consideration. They are not sitting idle, looking for, 30 minutes with somebody on a short notice. So the fact that 10 people could come together was itself, to me, a great success.
And even people, Rahul meeting people like Raja Krishnamurti, who was perceived as a person close to Narendra Modi or has championed the Hindu things in the past. So seems very he has a very non-partisan view to go meet and
listen. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, he is a congressman. We got to respect that. Forget about his personal view. Okay, he's entitled to have his personal view. He's entitled to have whatever he wants to have. But we met him as an elected congressman in the US. Okay. We can't ignore that. We got to respect that. Okay. We can't go on in everybody's character and saying what is he leaning, what is he voting for. That's okay. It
shows the importance of Rahul wanting to listen to all different kind of people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why we requested for a meeting like that.
And also, Rahul has commented about Ukraine, Israel, free and fair elections, women, a lot of different things which somehow didn't get picked up. So what are your thoughts? I think no Indian leader has spoke a lot about the human rights issue angle of Ukraine and Israel and stood with the oppressed. So I think Rahul did it, and very right in the US when he came down here in front of the international community. What are your thoughts about this comments he made about Ukraine and Israel?
No, I think he was really talking on a global stage. He was well received. He was knowledgeable. He could articulate issues. He could discuss it and command respect. It's not easy, believe me.
Yeah.
To be in front of 10 congressmen who have, 30 years of experience in the Congress and hold on to a decent conversation, respectful conversation, dignified conversation, requires fair amount of understanding. Not many people can do that. Nobody talks about that, but that's all right. That's okay. They can talk whatever they want to talk about. They have the freedom. So how about questions from the audience?
Yeah. So there is a question from Pillamari. I think it's more of a commentary. Rahul Gandhi is one leader who openly admitted on the international forum during his visit that to US that caste is the main problem and also untouchability in India. I think that is why a section of people of India and abroad are not happy with this open comments. Sir, how do you look at this?
I mean, the facts are facts. Look, first of all, this whole business of saying something on foreign land and all that is old idea. In a hyper-connected world, distance is dead. Time is instant. Information gets democratized. So you can't say that this is only good information for India and shouldn't go out. Funny thing. If there's a caste system in India, you think people don't know abroad? Every local event becomes international. And many international events also become local. So for Rahul to talk about caste system in India is very normal. I mean, in America is very normal for me. What is the issue? I don't see any issue.
There's a comment from Nikhil Nandeshwar on EVM. So please get rid of EVM. Most of the problems would be solved. RSS wants to change the history and EVM is champion. So in fact, Rahul interestingly made a comment about free and fair elections. In a free and fair elections, BJP may not get these kind of numbers, what they have got even now. So what are your thoughts?
I would request all of us to look at the report by the Citizens Committee, of which Justice Lokor is the head. Devashayam and others have been promoting it, rightfully so. I buy into that report. Okay, but then, people have their own opinion. In that report, real professionals, professors, IIT, PhDs, have written about what is wrong with EM or what could be wrong. Respect that. Even as a technical man, I don't want to question them because I know they've done a good job. But in India, a non-technical guy will have an opinion on technical stuff. Okay. So respect what they have done. They spend a lot of time, pay attention to it, and answer their questions. Election Commission is not doing that. Supreme Court is not doing that. And that's where I have concerns.
There are two of our right-wing friends. I just want to, in a fair democratic opportunity, I want to provide list their comments also. I think Sheshan Ranganathan is talking. Okay, I think I'll talk about this one particularly. So why did Rahul Gandhi lie by falsely claiming that Sikhs are prevented from wearing turbans or kalas? So I think you already spoke.
He did not say Sikhs are, prevented. He says the fight is about if Sikhs are prevented. He didn't say, how do you come to that conclusion that he said the Sikhs are prevented? The fight is about these kinds of issues. Fight is about, as an example. He could have given another example. He could have given an example on beef. He could have given an example on, Jews. He could have given an example on something else. But the guy, all the people in the front row were Sikhs. So naturally, his focus was on Sikhs. So he asked, what's your name? And the fellow said, this is my name. So he said, the fight is about you not being able to do this in the future. it doesn't mean you can't do this today. Please understand the beginning of the sentence. The fight is about your not being able to wear kada someday. That doesn't mean you can't wear kada today. Okay. So this is how I saw it. And you can say, I'm wrong and you are right. Fine. Okay. Next.
That's again, there are a lot of right-wing interest as usual. So, Vachaspadija is asking words like Rahul could do this, Rahul could do that speaks in volume to how even Mr. Sam is also surprised. So,
No, I'm not surprised. I don't understand. Go back to that sentence. I don't understand the sentence.
I think he's saying that we are pushing Rahul. Rahul could do this. Rahul could do that, and we are creating an artificial image. Is what I think he's trying to mean. If I'm not wrong.
What is artificial image?
No, Rahul could do this. Rahul could do that. So instead of talking about what Rahul has done, so we are saying that Rahul is going to do this. I think that's what I think he's meaning.
Where did I say Rahul could do this and Rahul could do that?
I think it's just a right-wing thing. Yeah.
But where did I do that?
Yeah, you didn't do anything. Yeah.
I didn't say that, but that's
Yeah.
okay. That's his privilege, and I respect his, understanding.
Yeah, I think there is one more right-wing thing. There is
That's okay. Right, left doesn't matter.
does not see the irony of demonizing caste. It letting a family dynasty rule the biggest party historically in India seems to be accepted. If Rahul loses next election, will Congress ever?
Well, Congress party has been around for 138 years. I can assure you that Congress party would be around for another 138 years. And I can also assure you that Rahul Gandhi is not going to live for 138 years more. No one is. I'm not going to. Okay. So just relax. We just use words and twist things, and I think that shows that our mind doesn't have clarity. Okay. And everybody thinks they have all the answers. Okay. So that's fine. Next.
I think that's it, Sam. So we have good 356 viewer as we speak. Are there anything else you want to speak on the Capitol Hill, Dallas, UT Dallas, Georgetown meetings?
No, I think I have covered most of it. And I just wanted to share this with this group because this group is, dedicated to meeting every Saturday. So they deserve clarification. They deserve, sort of a report. And it's my job to do that. Okay. And I respect your presence. I cherish your interactions and questions. And I also learn, believe me, I learned from talking to you all. And, I understand what the real issues are and what is on your mind. Okay. And hopefully that will help me as well.
Sure thing. I think it was a great conversation. So hopefully we'll have a deeper interactions in the weeks ahead, and maybe there is a lot of...
You have anything? Premvada, you want to say anything?
Yes, sir. I think the visit was successful. Also, your thoughts on if the reporter who made a big hoo-ha after this, because his profile showed he was attached to Republic, India Today, all these paid news networks. So, do you think he was one of them and he had a set agenda? And my second is just a suggestion. So next time when we have Rahulji's visit abroad anywhere, we should have a team of social media team specifically to bust the lies spread by BJP, because what happens is our responses are delayed, and already it's like made a big hoo-ha here. I mean, we are there on Twitter and countering, but if you have someone from the team direct itself, because they are there witnessing everything, and if they if you have a team,
we have every time we have a social media team with us.
Yeah, just to counter,
We have a special photographer, Basil, who travels with us. We have a special social media team connected to Rahul Gandhi's team back home. So we try to do as much as we can. Okay,
Yeah.
but when you really have a group of people who are dedicated to spreading Misinformation spreads like wildfire.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like we should have such a team, just a team dedicated to countering the lies then and there on.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm. Yeah.
Okay, maybe we'll do a better job next time.
Yeah, just my suggestion. It's
No, thank you.
thank you.
Last but not least, Sam. So incidentally, DMK stalwart Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin was also visiting US, and I think he was biking, and Rahul wanted to join him biking. I think M.K. Stalin has invited him to join him biking in Chennai. He couldn't join the biking in US. Maybe what's next? So are there anything they are going to bike? You know the
I
dates?
have no idea. I have no idea.
Cool. So very good. I am very glad both the leaders have made the America living Indian liberals kind of in taste with their thoughts during their visits.
I have
So
no idea.
I had a glad opportunity to participate in both the events, and
Good.
very pleasant view. Thanks a lot, Sam. Looking forward. I think there is a lot of interest to talk about Trump versus Harris American elections, and even sports. One of the topic which we were supposed to talk earlier, I think, is.
Well, I wanted to really, ask our colleagues here who are giving valuable time on every Saturday. Is this useful? Is this something worth continuing? Is this something you would like to hear regularly? And what kind of topics you would like to hear about?
Sure.
I'd like to understand that a little better. Anybody
So-
answering?
Yeah, maybe we can. I mean, I personally believe we should have these interactions because
Okay.
there is always something happening, and it
Okay.
needs to be spoken about and discussed.
Okay.
I have posted comments in the both your handles, Sam, YouTube and Facebook, so that people will share in case if they have suggestions for the topics. So let us wait to hear from them. And also, we are conducting polls in some of the communities like Bharat Ki Awas, where we are trying to seek inputs. So there is a lot of interest on the American elections. So I think the debate has happened during this visit, or just alongside the visit. So wanted to hear on the thoughts of you as well as the community on the American elections. So I
Okay.
think Modi is visiting today. So I think Trump is claiming that he's going to meet Modi, and there is a lot of expectation that he's going to support. And there is a good Indian diaspora which is also objecting to Modi's visit, and they are protesting. So there is a lot of things happening. So are there
Okay.
anything you want to comment on Modi's visit?
No, I think we just have to, respect him as a Prime Minister of India. He's not coming as an individual. He's coming as a Prime Minister of India.
There is an Indian diaspora which is objecting and doing a protest around his visit.
That's part of democracy. Okay.
Sounds good.
But he's coming as a Prime Minister of India. So he should get all the respect the Prime Minister of India would get.
Sounds good.
You know.
We are on the top of the hour, Sam. 7:50. So
Okay. Yeah, I have another call.
thank
It
was
yeah.
nice
Sometimes
talking.
I have back-to-back video calls for 4 or 5 hours. You'll be surprised.
I think we met for past 2 weeks because of this visit, and glad to see you on Rahul face to face. In fact, Rahul didn't recognize me. That's the reason I got my 5-month long beard out now.
Well, at least your face shows up now.
Yeah, I was trying to become Rahul, growing the white beard and hair, but I thought, okay, let me be Sean.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Bye, Sam.
Love you.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, Shan. Thanks.
Bye.
See you. Bye.